the present progressive. I forget what verb tense you used. It wasn't the present progressive. Can you repeat that second sentence? So this one right here.
Yeah. Uh, in finding new apartments using the gerund, I'm always looking for the better opportunities to buy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I rent a new apartment. And Morris, how are you doing?
Hi, hi everybody.
Hi.
I'm just arrived.
Yeah. And how are you today?
Ah, fine, thanks. Fine, thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
And let's have Morris. Can you ask Jarek the next question?
Okay. Which is sorry, I have
Okay.
read only now the page. What is?
Yeah, so it'd be the second question right here. Can you see it?
Okay. What's the hardest thing about finding an apartment? What's the hardest thing about finding an apartment?
I
Okay.
think the hardest part of finding a good apartment is the environment and the transportancy, and you have to evaluate all of them, because if you can't pay much, then you could get the best one. But if you are under a limited budget, you can only evaluate both the conditions, like in
Is that what you said? Conditions, Jarek?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So I think the hardest part of finding a good apartment, and then we'd probably say is finding
uh
a good environment and
Convenient.
transportation. Yeah, you could say convenient, finding a convenient art environment and transportation
Hmm.
system. And you have to evaluate all that. If you're on a budget, you can only evaluate most conditions. You can only evaluate some conditions, maybe? I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
feels
some condition.
good. Can you repeat those sentences one more time?
I think that the hardest part of finding a good apartment is finding. Oh, I think it's repeated sometimes, somehow. Finding, finding a convenient environment and a transportation system. You have to evaluate all of that. If you are under a limited budget, you can only choose one evaluate. I don't know. Should I carry on or just follow your corrections?
Do you hear me?
Sorry, Adela.
Ah,
Yep. And so, Jarek, I was just trying to make the corrections that I thought you were making. I thought you said
Uh-huh.
choose instead of evaluate, so I was just trying to correct it according to what
Uh,
you said, because I think choose does sound a little bit more natural. Both are correct,
yeah.
though. Okay. Does that make sense, Jarek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choose.
Okay. Really good sentences, though. And Jarek, can you ask Adela the last question?
Okay, Adela, describe your apartment, please.
um, It's an attic duplex with 2 terraces, and in the attic I have the office with PCs and chimney. I like it.
Okay, nice. One thing can you repeat duplex?
Duplex,
Close. Duplex. Duplex.
duplex.
Good. It's an attic duplex. What was the next thing that you said? I didn't quite hear it.
With 2 terraces.
Terraces.
Terraces. Okay.
2 terraces. And so yeah, it sounds like
One in each floor.
Nice. And then we'd say one on each floor. One
Okay.
on each
Floor.
But that's awesome. Really good sentence. That sounds like a really cool apartment to have, Adela. Nice. Okay. And what about you, Morris? What's your apartment like?
Sorry, it's for me? Or
No, it's for Morris.
Okay. Yes, I don't hear very well.
That's okay.
Okay. I must describe my apartment.
Yeah, if you can.
Okay. My apartment is 2 bedrooms with a large living room with a kitchen and with a garden, little garden in outside. It's in a colonial old house. Okay. From what can I say? From 18th century. Okay.
From the 18th?
Yes, 18th century. Okay.
Nice.
18th century.
Yeah, and we'd use the article too, so we'd say the 18th century. But good.
18th century. Okay.
Yeah. And also colonial. It's a colonial house.
Colonial house.
Good. Perfect. That sounded really good. Does anybody have any questions on this page? Any questions? Okay, let's go to the next page. And let's have Rafa. Can you read the title and the directions?
Vocabulary. Read the words and define them.
Perfect.
Advertise. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Rafa, can you read the first 3 words?
Yeah. Advertisement. Contract signed. Deposit.
Okay, good. And let's have Jarek. Can you read the last 3 words?
Renter, landlord, repairs.
Perfect. And do any of you guys have any questions about any of these words?
The deposit.
Deposit.
The
Can you repeat
deposit.
Yeah, deposit. And so, Adela or Rafa, what does deposit mean?
It's a money quantity you pay before to rent.
Okay, good. And
It's a caution, no?
it's a what?
Caution, no? Caution?
Yeah,
No.
it's like a guarantee. So it's a quantity of money you have to pay before you rent an apartment or a house. It's a deposit. And so, Adela, can you repeat that sentence?
It's a quantity of money you have to pay before you rent an apartment or a house.
Perfect. Exactly. Does that make sense, Jarek?
Yes, I think. So, what's the difference between the deposit and the pledge? Pledge.
Okay. A deposit is a more common term for a pledge. We would, I don't think, ever really say pledge. At least I've never heard it. But it's just the money that you pay before you rent an apartment, in case something breaks, or in case you leave the apartment early, or in case you stop paying your bills. It's so that they can take the security deposit in case anything happens.
Ah,
Okay?
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about any of these other words? Okay, good. So can each of you choose one of these words? Can you each choose a word and use the word in a sentence in the chat box? So write a sentence with a word in the chat. Awesome, Adela. Nice job. Let's get that on the board. And we say pay. And that's a terrible thing to happen. Okay, and let's wait a second while everybody else finishes their sentences. So yeah, Derek and Rafa, just when you're ready, write a sentence. Nice, Rafa. Nice, Morris. Okay, and Adela, can you read your sentence?
Yes, my renter don't pay the rent.
Nice. Okay, and we change something in this sentence. What would we change, Adela? How would you correct that?
Pay, because I write better.
Okay, so yeah, we definitely, that would be changed.
Sorry. Yes.
But remember renter. So renter is the third person, present tense.
Doesn't. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, that was perfect. Great correction, doesn't.
Yes, I don't.
Can you read the sentence with the correction?
My renter doesn't pay the rent. Or my renters.
Okay,
No?
if you said my renters, it'd be a little bit different. How would you say that sentence if you said my renters?
In plural, no, it's possible. Don't pay the rent.
So my renters what?
Sorry?
I just didn't hear you. What did you say? My renters...
Same.
It wouldn't be the same.
My renters don't pay.
Nice. Yeah, my renters don't pay the rent. Or don't pay rent. Either. Good. Really good sentence, Hedera. Okay, and let's have Rafa. Can you read your sentence?
Yesterday, I read an advertisement in the newspaper about a nice apartment to rent without have to pay a deposit.
Nice. This is a good sentence as well. So yesterday, you said I read. How would you pronounce this in the past tense?
Yeah, I read.
Close. You said read. How would we say this?
I read.
Yeah, I read an advertisement.
I read.
Yeah. In the newspaper. Perfect. About what's a nice apartment? How do we change that?
A nice.
Yeah, perfect. A nice apartment. To rent.
Without the I.
Yeah, that would be true. We'd use something else here.
Without having to pay.
Yeah, without having to pay a deposit. So yesterday, I read an advertisement in the newspaper about a nice apartment to rent without Um, that, we'd probably change the second part. About a nice apartment, we'd probably say 4. Shoot, sorry.
For
For
rent.
rent, that doesn't have
For rent without having to pay it.
for probably grammatically correct. Does that make sense a little bit more? So there's just a little bit
Yeah.
different.
Could you say, if I may make a question, could you say,
Yeah, go ahead.
could you say for rent that without paying a deposit?
Okay, without paying a deposit. So
No.
I think in a newspaper about a nice apartment to rent without paying a deposit. Yeah, it could work. It's a little bit vague without paying. So a nice apartment you could rent without having to pay a deposit. Yeah, I think that'd work. So you could rent without having to pay a deposit. Yeah, that's another one. So a nice apartment you could rent without having to pay a deposit. So nice. Okay, and let's have Morris. Can you read your sentence?
Yeah. I have read your advertisement about the rent of the apartment.
Yeah, I've read your advertisement about the rent of your apartment. I think that's perfect. Just add a period at the end. I've read your advertisement about the rent of your apartment.
It's similar, it's the same with the Rafa's sentences.
Yeah, it's really similar. I've read your advertisement about. So, about the rent of your apartment. This could work. It means different things. I've read your advertisement about the rent of your apartment. I think what you're trying to say isn't exactly what the sentence says. It's really good grammar. But
You say that the sentence is not correctly.
I've read. I think exactly what you mean. I've read. I wouldn't change it. I can't think of a way to rearrange that sentence, but I think that's good. It's good grammar too. Okay, and Jarek, can you read your sentence?
I would lose my deposit if I move out without the landlord's permission.
Good. And we'd have to change this word right here. How do we change that?
Moving out?
Not quite. So I would lose if I. So we'd use a different tense. What tense would we use?
Moved out?
Exactly. Yeah, we'd have to say if I moved out without my landlord's permission. And if you wanted to say it in the future, so I will lose my. Does that make sense? So if you're using, you have to use the present. Does that make sense? You say I will lose my deposit if I move, or I would if I moved. This is a hypothetical situation. We'd use this past tense, and so it's like we use the present tense. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so they're similar, but remember, if it's a conditional statement like this, we'd have to use the simple past.
So you need to consider the would or wills, the tense
Yeah,
of would and will.
exactly.
Oh,
So
yes, thanks. I thought it's the same. I could use them both.
they're very similar. They mean the same thing, but we just need to change the tenses of the verbs so that this would be the future and this is the present. It's a little bit tricky, but really good job. Good sentence. Really good possessive S too. And does anybody have any questions on this page? Any questions? Okay, let's go on to the next page. And let's have Adela, can you read the title?
Gerunds and infinitive. Fill in the blank with a gerund or an infinitive.
Good. Ed. Sorry. Can you repeat infinitives? Infinitives?
Infinitives.
Perfect. Awesome. And can you also read the verbs, Adela?
To buy, to give, to move, to sell, to clean.
Perfect. Okay. And Jerek, can you try the first sentence?
Don't forget. Don't forget to give the keys to the client.
Nice. Exactly. Don't forget to give. Good. And let's have Morris. Can you try the next one?
Yes, at one moment I lose connection. I
Okay.
joined now. I hate into a new apartment. Packing and unpacking is such a pain. I make a move into a new apartment. Packing and unpacking is such a pain.
Okay. Close. We would actually not say to move. You chose the right verb, but we'd change it a little bit. How do we change to move?
Uh, I hate. Okay. I hate moving.
Yeah.
I hate
Into a new
moving
apartment.
into an apartment. Okay. Packing and packing is such a pain.
Perfect. Rafa, what about the next sentence?
I imagine cleaning or buying that house every day. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, good. It would probably be buying in the cleaning. Um, nobody's imagining cleaning houses. Good. Awesome. It's so beautiful. Perfect. And Adela, what about the next sentence?
I need to I need to clean the house by Tuesday.
Okay, good. That would definitely work. What's another verb that we can use? There are
Uh,
two verbs.
Is to sell.
Yeah, imagine.
Yes,
I need to sell.
I
And Morris, you could not say that. So bought is the past
Wow.
tense.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
So if it's something that you imagine doing every day, it just wouldn't work. Sorry. So yeah, you could only use the gerund. I imagine buying that house every day. Um,
Okay.
so the gerund is just like a verb that acts like a noun in this case. So it's like a doing something like, yeah. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's often a verb that acts like a noun. But good. And so what about the last one, Jarek?
The house still needs to be to be repaired. I think to be
Okay, to be repaired. That would work, but that's not in the choices. So which one of those verbs would work?
to be cleaned.
Good. And we'd have to only use an infinitive or a gerund. Infinitive or a gerund. So you couldn't say to be cleaned, because that's the infinitive of to be. So the house still needs what?
Needs. I'm confused about this.
This is a tricky one.
Still needs. Needs cleaning.
Uh-huh, exactly. The house still needs cleaning. House still needs cleaning. Okay, good. And so does anybody have any questions on this page? Any questions?
Yeah. Is there any rule to show us the use of gerund or the infinitive?
Yes, sort of. Most of the time, you actually have to memorize. You have to memorize whether the verb is followed by a gerund or infinitive. Gerund versus infinitive. There's some good websites that actually have some good tutorials. I'm actually go to one now. But let's try this. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get you a website that you can practice on your own later. Going slowly though. Here it is. Okay, I think this should help out. And so, yeah, check in the chat box for that. That's a good one. Any other questions on this page? Okay. Yeah.
The last one, to be repaired. Is there any grammatically wrong?
What was that?
The house still needs to be repaired.
The house still needs to be repaired?
Is there anything wrong with it to
No.
be repaired?
That's fine. That works perfectly. But it's just not an option. So
Yeah.
I can't even move the shoot.
I forget it. Let's move to the next.
Yeah, okay, and let's go to the next one. And actually, let's try this website right here, the first one. Maybe. I'll put it in the chat box. Hold on, guys. So yeah, let's try there. And let's try to do those activities. And let's start with Rafa. Rafa, can you try the first sentence?
Activities with the I need to go to the web page, to the link.
Yeah, and I sent the link in the chat box.
The first one.
The second one.
The second one. Gerunds and infinitive part 1 could be.
Okay, nope, the 11.
No, the 11. Okay. Yeah, the blanks. I can't stand complaining all the time.
Okay, close. We'd have a pronoun before it, though.
I can't stand her complaining.
Good. I can't stand her complaining all the time. Perfect. And let's have Adera. Can you try the next sentence? Adela, can you hear us?
Sorry, my mic is sorry.
That's
Our
okay.
teacher won't allow us to use dictionary during the test.
Great, really nice job. Can you just repeat dictionaries? Dictionaries?
Dictionaries.
It's dictionaries.
Dictionary.
And let's have, Jedek, can you try the next one?
We advise him to take a taxi instead of walking to the restaurant.
Yeah, we advised him to take. Perfect. And restaurant. Repeat restaurant. Sorry, Jedek, can you repeat restaurant?
Restaurant.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. So a lot of the times we don't pronounce the middle syllable, so we just say restaurant. So just 2 syllables. Can you repeat restaurant?
Restaurant.
Good. Yeah. And so that's a way of pronouncing it. Most people don't say restaurant. They say restaurant.
Restaurant.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly like that, Jedek. So just be aware that that's often what people will say.
Okay.
Morris, you're welcome. Can you try the next sentence?
Yeah. The city doesn't allow parking along curbs painted red.
Yeah. The city doesn't allow parking.
Along curbs painted red.
Yeah, perfect. Really nice job. And what about the next one? Rafa.
She prefers blank dinner because she doesn't like to cook. She prefers making dinner because she doesn't like to cook.
Okay. That would be right, but think about the meaning of the sentence. What does the sentence mean?
She prefers. She prefers my making.
Yeah, exactly. My making.
My making. Oh my gosh.
Because she doesn't like to cook. Doesn't like to. And so you would have been right if she likes cooking. So she prefers making dinner because she likes to cook. And that is when you'd say that. But yeah, it's a little bit tricky. That was a trick one. So what about the next sentence, Adela?
I hope you don't mind me to smoke while you eat.
Not quite. What's a
No.
different one?
Okay. I hope you don't mind my smoking while you eat.
Perfect. Nice job. Smoking. And Jarek, what about the next one?
John is never on time to work. I hate him to arrive late every day.
Not quite. We changed that one as well. Can you think of another one that would work?
I hate him arriving.
His arriving. I hate his arriving late every day.
I hate him to arrive.
No.
I thought it was I hate him for arriving.
You could say I hate him for arriving. That would change a lot. I hate his arriving. So to be possessive, arriving would be like a I hate him. So does that make sense, Jedek?
I hate him or hate arriving.
I hate him arriving late for every day. Or you could say I hate him for arriving. But that's different. That changes the meaning. So this one, you hate the person, and the one above it is hate. So I hate his arriving late to work every day. Repeat that sentence, Eric.
Then I could say I hate arriving late every day. That's just fine. It's not specific to John, right?
Yeah, that's for you though. So it doesn't make sense with the beginning of the sentence.
Ah, yeah, I need
So
to hear you too. Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And okay. And so can you read the whole sentence one more time, Jadek?
Yeah, sure. John is never on time to work. I hate him. He's arriving late every day. I hate his arriving late every day.
Exactly. I hate his arriving late every day. Good work, Boris. What about the next sentence?
Yeah, Sarah urged me voting in the next election.
Okay, so urged me voting. Not quite. We'd change that a little bit.
Hmm. Sarah urged. It's not correct. Me to vote.
Me to vote? You said me voting, right? The first time?
Yes, me voting. Is this correct?
That would be incorrect. So we'd actually change it a little bit.
Hmm. Sarah urged. Is the next. Quindi Sarah urged me to vote in the next election.
Exactly. She urged me to vote in the next election.
Urged me to vote in the next election.
Yeah,
How can I
good
say?
job.
Urged? Urged? How you pronounce it?
Urge?
Urge.
Urge.
Urge. Okay. The D is mute.
Yeah, urged. No, so you still
Urge.
pronounce it urged. So the urge, and then
Urge.
urge.
Urge. Okay.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to pronounce, but it's urge.
Urge.
Good. Okay. And Rafa, what about
Yes.
the next sentence?
Got a number because I lose. What number, please?
9. Number
Oh,
9.
sorry. He
Don't be.
needs to get a visa extension immediately. The authorities won't permit blank in the country without a visa. The authorities won't permit him to stay or him to stay. I think both of them, him staying or him to stay. I don't know. Could you hear me?
Yes,
There are some
Yes,
problems
but
with the connection.
yes.
I can't help you. Sorry.
Mhm.
But it's not clear for me when use an infinite and when use a German.
Okay. Sorry, Morris. It's hard to hear you. I think my internet is slowed down for a second. It might be better now. Morris, can you repeat that question?
And it's not clear for me. It's not easy to understand how when use an infinitive, okay, or use a gerund.
Yeah, it's really difficult when to use an infinitive.
Okay.
And so though there are a lot of tutorials on this website that definitely help a lot. So I think the first one I sent you will definitely help you out. It's a lot of memorization. You just need to know. Hi. Sorry, guys. Okay, and let's get that up. And so, thanks, Morris. I think, Morris, what was your question? Can you repeat your question, Morris?
Yes, my question is that is not easy for me to understand, to choose when use an infinitive or when use infinitive or gerund verbs.
Okay, yeah, and like I said, when to use,
When to use. Okay.
an infinitive or a, and so memorization in this case. So most of it is you just have to know which verbs are followed by an infinitive or a gerund. And then it's difficult too because the indirect objects change what you use. So advise, or what was one of these? Allow.
Okay.
So yeah, our teacher won't allow us to use, or what was the other one? The city doesn't allow parking, so the teacher doesn't allow us to use, doesn't allow us to use, doesn't allow us to use, and doesn't allow parking. So if you have the object, like us, you need to use the infinitive, and if you don't have the object, you use the gerund. So again, it's just memorization. You need to know how it works. And this website that we're on, so the website that I gave you, Morris, has great tutorials on how to use the infinitive and gerund, so that should help a lot. But I still think we've got one more sentence. Adela, can you do the last sentence here, number 10?
Travel agents usually advise reconfirming flight bookings 3 days before departure. Reconfirming.
Sorry about that. I was asking about any questions. Did anybody have any questions on the last page? Okay. So hopefully no questions. And Jarek, can you read this quotation?
Never make your home in a place. Make a home for yourself inside your own head. You will find what you need to furnish it. Memory, friends you can trust, love of learning, and other such things. That way you will go with your wherever you journey.
Nice job, Jarek. Wherever you journey. Okay, and so Morris, what do you think about this quotation? What do you think about it? What do you think it means?
Yeah. One moment. I don't understand the sense of this sentence. I understand that the initial paragraph. Never make your home in a place. Never.
Okay, so
Home for
home.
yourself.
Home might be the most important word here. Home is often like a place or like feeling really comfortable, a place where you feel comfortable and without anxiety, So home is different than a house. A house is something you live in, but a home means something a little bit more. It means like it's where you're comfortable. Does that make sense a little bit? Does that help you?
Yes, yes.
Homes, yeah, not material, for sure, Lera. Okay, and so can you explain what it means a little bit to you, Morris? Or
Okay.
can you ask somebody for help?
When I read your own head, what means inside your own head?
Ah, inside your own head. So,
Inside your own head. Head.
yeah, so your head is like inside your own mind, in your brain.
Ah, okay.
Okay, and Rafa, maybe can you add some input? What do you think about this, Rafa?
Yeah, the author is trying to tell us that the most important is to have your home inside yourself, in your imagination, in your memories, in your with your capacity to achieve knowledge, experiences, as Adela says, and this is very important, or the most important, because wherever you go, wherever you have your home inside yourself, in your imagination, in your mind, and the most important, all the time you live with yourself, and don't take care about your home. If you are with yourself, don't take care where where are you living, where is your home, because the most important is to have the inner, in
Yeah,
the inside yourself. Could
yeah,
be.
I think that's exactly right. And so instead of saying it don't care, we'd say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where
It
your home
doesn't
is or
matter.
something.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Yeah.
but that sounded great.
Mm.
Really good job. Unfortunately, I do have to go. I have another class right after this. So if you guys want, feel free to join that class. But do you have any last questions before we finish up? Any last questions?
Nope.
Okay. Well, like I said, it was great having you guys in class. Hopefully, I'll see you again very soon. If not, have a really good day.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.